Welcome to Rural Concerns, the podcast equivalent of nodding to a passing stranger on a well-trodden countryside walkway and saying, "Do you want to see a video of someone blowing up a dead whale with a grenade?"
Producer James here. We're recording this on a Sunday morning and we're very tight for time today. We said we can record between 10 and 11, and I said I've got a hard out at 11 and I will start recording at 10. So I've started recording at 10. Currently the only person on the call. Let's just release it in real time. A real-time podcast episode. I mean, obviously I'll bleep it if Chris starts doxing 17-year-olds, or I could just advertise my other podcast while I'm here. Check out Lawmen, Loremen, which is me and the comedian Alistair Beckett King talking funny about myths and legends. It's a fun time. A lot less swearing than this, definitely. A lot less chat about crypto. It's 3 minutes past 10 now. I mean, it's 5 past now. I don't think they're unable to join the call. I'm going to send a message to the group WhatsApp chat saying 6 minutes into a solo Shake Shaft monologue. Best episode yet? Question mark. Oh, here he is.
Please welcome to Rural Concerns.
Well done, Chris.
Sunil here?
No, not seen hiding a hair of him. That's why I just texted as he had a fall. He's normally in before me.
Did he say he was going out?
He was out on the lad lash. I have recapped all of this in my 6-minute monologue because this episode is going out as live.
Yeah, this is just a taste of what a live show will be like. I've driven down and he did. Yeah,
well done.
I made good. I've come in. I parked the car. I gained access to the building because I had to be buzzed. Someone had to let me in.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the toilet. I've connected to a new internet.
Yes.
And I've done a slightly different... Does the mic sound okay?
It does sound fine. Let me have a look at your settings and check you're on the correct mic. You are on... What's your audio? Just says Bluetooth device, actually. I can't get any deeper. Normally I can find out your brand name and stuff. But tap the mic. Let's just check it's the right one. Can't hear that. I can hear that. You're coming through your headphone mic. So, one prediction, correct.
Okay, right. Well, when I did connect this thing, it said...
Oh, dear Lord. That sounds bad.
My internet's gone. Oh, fucking hell.
Stop doing that. Stop doing that, whatever it is you're doing. I'm going to kick you off the call. You're done. Okay, so... This is for me, this is like a very dull... found footage horror film. Here he is. He's back on. He's looking smug. He's not letting on whether he can hear me though.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear me. Am I coming out of your computer? Take your headphones off.
You're coming in my ears now. Can you hear me tapping?
No. Can I tell you why? Because on the Bluetooth, I don't think you can split it to be headphones and then speaker out of another thing. I presume previously you've been wired headphones, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
It's not terrible quality, to be honest. It's not going to pick up as much mouth noise as we have over the previous couple of weeks. We can cut those out and add them back in if you want.
Oh, yeah, I can record them separately. But is Sunil still not here?
No, and he's not replied to my 2 direct messages now, asking him if he's had a fall and if we should text his flatmate.
This is very unprofessional. I'm just going to say it.
This is very un-Sunil.
This is not Sunil. Sunil he will not do the social media promo. He will not do many a thing like that. He will not be available for many a thing like that, but he will be there on time.
Normally, he's first on.
Exactly.
That's loud. That is loud. That water thing is loud.
Well, I won't be here drinking water all the time.
Thank goodness. Just doing mouth clicks.
I've come down with it. I didn't bring on Nicola's advice. She was like, you don't need the Focusrite, like the interface. So she was like, you could just plug this straight into there. So that's what I've done, but I should have tested it at home before.
We need to plug your headphones into that. That does have an out, but you need wired headphones.
Yeah, I know, but these are wireless headphones. I don't have them.
I know you're from the future, Chris. You're basically a cyborg.
I'm in Manchester, so I'm going to message the tech guy, and be like, "Could you do this?"
What time were you up this morning?
6:30.
All right, that's not bad.
That's not bad. On the road for just after 7. But I went to the cinema last night, so I was quite late.
What'd you see?
Quiet Place, day 1.
Pretty downbeat.
It was kind of beautiful in a really. It's like, this is really silly, but in a very subtle. It was subtle. The characters were elegant. It was not sweet. That's the wrong word, but it was just like a considered film that had quite a mature core to it. I really enjoyed it. Went with Nicola because we basically got a house guest. I'll come on to that.
Are you happy to have your wife's name in this, by the way? Because you started off in the first couple episodes, you were quite you make sure you said your wife and your child, but now you seem to be bandying around names and doxing yourself with your...
Happy for Nicola's name to be in it, but I think it should be my son, the boy, But I went to the cinema, we've got a house guest.
You don't need to talk into the mic, remember?
Oh, because it's on the headphones.
You sort of leaned in like you were talking into the mic now. You can wander around. You can do this like you would do your TED Talk.
Stood up.
Yeah, pacing around.
Well, we'll explain, I think, this episode, because Sunil's not here, which is very, very interesting gossip. What we'll do is a 10-minute apology at the top about the sound quality.
Well, I thought we'd just cut out the gaps and just put it out as live. This is like an insight into my world.
Yeah, and the prep is that you're getting ready. You're going on holiday, so we're...
Well, I've told him I've got a hard out. I'm going for a Sunday lunch.
Oh, is that what the hard out is? Where are you going?
In-laws.
I've got a feeling he's not coming.
Do you want to give him a ring? Speakerphone on. Stop drinking water. You're drinking water. We've been recording for 20 minutes.
Well, you have. I am.
I know. I've really put it out there. I've really, I've put the world to rights.
I'm calling Sunil.
He was like, "I'll turn up early."
Yeah, he was, because he wanted to show me up.
This is the Talk Mobile voicemail service.
Oh.
9.
Don't put his number on there. Beep. Obviously. Blah, 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 blah.
Please leave a message after the tone. When you've finished recording, please hang up or press the hash key for more options.
Hi, Sunil. It's Chris. I'm just on the recording session with producer James. We are just wondering where you are, because you said that you would be on the recording session early. It's obviously, we've never known you to be late. So basically, your reputation is hanging in the balance.
It's in tatters, Chris.
It's in tatters. Wait a minute, James. I've got some exciting developments at my end. Sunil, it's all hanging by a thread.
Oh, you've got the headphones.
He's just brought them in.
Who's that?
That's Darius. He works at Grub.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes.
And scratch the mic. Oh, there we are. No, that is actually...
Welcome back. I'm going to buy some wired headphones, and this is the setup for when we're doing it in Edinburgh.
Well, you're going to drive to Manchester at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah. If we still are doing it, let's be honest.
Yeah, I don't know if... Is Sunil going to get bailed in time?
Will we come back? What if he's murdered someone? What if he's in jail?
I don't know. I don't know what happens. I think you're not allowed to podcast in that scenario, right?
Oh, Sunil's just messaged coming 10:22. This makes it from this point on. There can be no. Every word has to be a banger. There has to be no ums.
Whoa. That means you're implying that my solo 12-minute monologue was not... It was basically Shakespeare in the Park.
What I'm saying is, normally, do you know what I mean? People don't know, but we record... How many? We record 3 hours. 3 hours to get to one 22-minute episode. That's the ratio of podcasting. That's how it works.
Yeah, but that's mostly you fiddling around with the document.
Yeah.
And us being like trying to read the script, but you're like cutting and pasting it.
Good morning, Sunil.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon at this late hour.
Half day, is it? Part-timers?
Yeah. Sunil, it's 10:23. So this is how it's gone. James has been on recording hard since 10.
Bang on, 10 o'clock, press record.
I joined at 10:11.
Bang on, 10:11. Chris joined in, interrupting my world-changing monologue where I really called everyone out.
Sorry.
And obviously, Chris's microphone fucked up.
I can hear in your voice, you are hungover and you've been smoking cigarettes. I can hear it.
I actually haven't, and I'm not.
Listen to that velvety baritone silk cut voice.
Probably just thirst. No, I actually haven't had a drop of alcohol.
What happened?
I don't believe that, Sunil. Sunil, don't lie.
No, I'm not genuinely. Oh no, I had one shandy.
Oh, yeah. You're pushing the old Radler agenda.
Yeah, on deaf ears, that one. Well, look. Basically,
Take us through last night. Take us through the steps up to this, the greatest lapse in professional judgment I have ever seen.
No, what my alarm did go off at 9 a.m., but I think I woke up and I thought, why am I getting up at 9? And I just turned it off and went back to sleep.
Yeah, I said to Sunil will not do the social media. He will not contribute to the document. But what he will do is he will be there on time. So we're like, our heads are spinning.
Right, I need to open the document because is it last?
Don't worry, do worry about the document, but we've got more ground to cover. We need to go through what happened last night. Come on.
No, genuinely nothing. I went to a friend's birthday party, but I left that at 9:45.
Having had only one shandy, being near cigarette smoke, but definitely not inhaling it. You sound like a Tory MP.
Look, so these things happen.
Yeah,
That sounds like a Tory MP, doesn't it?
Yeah. These things happen. Boys will be boys. What's important is that we learn from it. In fact, the very motto of this podcast is "Boys will be boys." That's fine. Leave us alone.
No, yeah. Sorry if I was 20 minutes late.
We got hard out at 11 though, so this is all going in. This is
Yeah,
all...
no, yeah. We still got 35 minutes left.
This is what I'm saying. There can be no margin for error.
Chris insisted that every word had to be gold from now on.
Like an absolute banger from this point on.
Yeah, but what if you say something that can't go in?
I won't do that.
There was a couple of disclaimers at the start. If anyone doxed any 17-year-olds, that would be cut.
Oh, well, good. Yeah, okay. Right. Where's what we talking about then, guys?
So whose party was it? This is what I want to know.
Well, you know them. It's our mutual friend.
B, obviously.
Again, I'm not sure about how much editing will be done on the surnames.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to be naming people's parties.
You're scrolling through people's names.
If you want to know whose party this was, what you need to do is get onto the comedy competitions that were going on in London in the circa 2012, 2013 era, and you will see us all on there.
Yeah, so that was it. Where have you gone now? Oh, there you are.
When I check the document, I lose camera functionality. Do you know what? I should get a separate camera. So,
Chris, you're on an iPad. You can do side by side on 2 apps.
I don't know whether that's possible.
Right, I'm not talking to this old lady about it.
Right, so cultural highlight. Sunil's been out on the town at a birthday party for people in their 40s. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah. A few crisps and what's-its.
Is it a house party scenario or are we in a bar?
House
Okay.
in London's fashionable North London.
Ooh.
I've heard of North London.
Snazzy.
Yeah.
Was it like a buffet laid on, or was it just... Had the person whose house it was done any real prep, apart from moving furniture to the walls?
Entire block of ice, and then the middle of it was chipped out to put tequila.
Ooh.
Yeah, you know how it is.
No, I don't. What do you put? And a load of straws?
No, just like bottles and glasses to cool down on the ice, and then it was like a huge block of ice. It was amazing.
Did it work?
Yeah, it cooled stuff down. It was ice.
No, I know, but sometimes, like when you just have you need a bit of like
In a flat share.
if you've got
Huge block of ice in a flat share. Warping the floorboards. Deposit lost.
Where did they get a huge block of ice?
A company called London Ice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I did. It's essentially the first question I asked. I was like, where the fuck did you get that from? How'd you get that? And he went, London Ice.
Just put a stick on the side of it because everyone's going to ask that.
This is I have a theory about comedians in that I think we've been doing it for so long that there's I believe that there's a tipping point of the only 2 states that exist in comedy are a binary yes or no, which is no money at all. No money, like less than no money. The tipping point after that is more money than God, and there's nothing in between. So I think there's like a tipping point where suddenly people start doing well and getting a big influx of money, but because they've basically been living off nothing, they spend it, like feast and famine, and they go a bit mad and they buy giant block ice sculptures.
That's interesting. Yeah, he's not a comedian.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've been hoisted by my own petard.
No, but you're right though. There is that, isn't there? I think it makes sense though, doesn't it? If you spent like years earning very little, then suddenly you get something, you buy like leather goods.
But this is what I heard about, with MPs going mad on expenses and stuff. Basically, someone said that basically for years they are treated like dogs, like that. And then when you get to the upper echelons of the political game, suddenly you have access to, like, you make hay.
But in what way are MPs treated like dogs?
Well, as in like the party mechanics of the lower echelons of having to do all this stuff, and it's like a miserable, hard, long life. So basically, it's opportunity. When you get the opportunity, people act like beasts.
Yeah, that's right. And only very few people make it as well.
Yeah, exactly. So when they do, it's like, you know what? I'm going to claim that my son needs to go skiing, and he needs full data roaming while he's over there. Because he's a professional gamer.
Which one are you? Are you no money or more money than God?
It's hard to tell, really, isn't it? There's definitely, I could maybe do with a few more quids.
Yeah.
Just to take a bit of pressure off the wife,
Yes.
She works so hard to support the arts.
Yeah.
Last night, I was saying to James, we've got a house guest. We used that opportunity to go out to the city. We don't go on dates. We haven't done for many a year, really, because
pre-kids even.
It's not like I do evening weekends and she does like Monday to Friday 9 till 5, because she did not a performer. She's like a voice actor and a voice coach, but it means that we have to be away intermittently. We have to do she has to do talks or courses or whatever, evenings, weekends. So we're basically always fighting for the same time when it comes to childcare. So every bit of like babysitting support that we get is always to wax a scheduling conflict. Like she last night, she's like, I've got to go to Cairo. And I'm like, I have to be in Barnard Castle. Do you know what I mean? Like two different jet-setting lives. But last night, because we got a house guest, we used the opportunity to go into Carlisle and have a night on the town. I drove because there's no physical means to get back without spending on a massive taxi. And I also had to be up very early to get to Manchester to be at this recording on time. So anyway, that's...
Turns out you didn't need to be up that early.
No, not that early.
We got some quality content done before I got here. I think that was good. Is it not, James?
It depends if anyone's still listening. They can be the judge.
But we went to watch a quiet... Well, it was basically dictated by what's on. Went to watch Quiet Place.
You can get that on streaming now.
Day one.
Yeah.
So it's brand new.
Yeah. I think you can pay for it sometimes.
Is it? But we went to watch that and it was great, but haven't just been out with my wife in that setting for years.
Oh, right.
She's just talking at full volume. Like this conversation. Like we're talking now.
What, in the
just
cinema?
Like, in the cinema.
Oh, my, you've just discovered your wife's one of those people.
She's one of the, completely oblivious to it. And then she's like, why are you getting wound up? Do you know what I mean? And I'm just like, just speak it.
You're getting all stressed out. I can see you all stressed out now.
Is this during the trailers and stuff?
Oh, what do you mean? You think sort of talk normally during the trailers and then...
There's a sliding scale of that person.
Yeah, but I'm talking about we're 20 minutes in and she's like...
Not in the Quiet Place. You can't do that in the Quiet Place.
No, but the Quiet Place is even the atmosphere in it's like library-esque, everyone. And this is like, we are in really the tail end of the death of cinema.
What's she saying? What's a sample of things she's saying?
Well, she's annoyed by the couple in front of us because we think they're going out for vapes intermittently, taking the shoes off, like this sort of stuff, feet over the seats in front. Like,
very interesting.
She's annoyed by that. And then
she's starting fights.
Yeah, and then she said, because it's Quiet Place, she's like talking about like the amount, like what do you do if you need a fart? Like stuff like this. It's funny content.
Yeah.
But it's just like, but the people are not paying for that sort of thing. So
can they hear her ask these questions?
No, not really. But if I was there, I'd be able to You know what I mean? I'd pick up on that and the general noise going on. So I was like, we don't need to do this again. We've done it now. And we went for a meal and that was lovely. And we went for a Thai place and we were picking, and I was like, I want this dish, like a chicken red curry. And she's like, well, what about this? What about this? An alternative, which is something that I didn't want. And then at the end, I was just like, just order what you want. Just order both dishes. It's fine. And then we'll split it up that way. Don't worry about it. It's fine. We don't get to go out very often. I remember being on a train back from Bradford to Manchester, like over the Pennines, and it was a late night Friday train, and someone had like locked themselves in the toilet, to not have the ticket checked, and just stayed in there until the next stop was Halifax and then got out. And I hated him. You know what I mean? Like, it's so selfish. Like, I really need. There's like a tiny little pastry train that they have up north,
oh, right,
where it's not like they should have been decommissioned 10 years after they were made, but they're still going strong now, like 30 years.
Did someone try and use the toilet?
Yeah, and I just need the toilet.
And he wouldn't let you in?
Like begging, and he's like, he didn't want his ticket checked.
That's all he said?
Well, no, he didn't even say anything. He just came out when it was like, next stop, Halifax. Ding, and then he got off, and just as the doors opened, scum.
Public transport complaints. That should be a section.
Someone had been fully sick on my train as well. I came home late, second last train of the night the other day, and had to step over a big puddle of sick by the door. Like, they got to the door of the train. I don't know if it had got to the station and the door hadn't opened quick enough, or if they just thought if I do it near the door, that's kind of right.
Yeah.
I'd fallen asleep for a bit, so I missed that.
But that just means that they should just, like, treat it like a circus in 30s. Just sawdust should be like just issued from the ceiling, cover it all until it's time to decommission the train, tread it in.
I didn't get a late train back from this party, but because I left quite early.
No, because when you were coming home not that long ago, the normal trains had started.
Everyone was going into work.
I was on the train that takes people between the two venues of their night out. So it was like quite busy with people who had just the right element of piss to be loud, but not pissed enough to be like slumped and quiet. So it was fucking hell.
Yeah, I've seen like young people on a night out like that. Do you know when basically you look back at it now when you're older and you look at kids and you just think, oh, be quiet. Do you know, because I remember being that age, but when they don't really have a personality, so they compensate by just being loud and taking up space, and you're like, just be quiet and get to 30, just be quiet until you're 30, and then you'll sort of feel sort of like a person properly. Yeah,
it's interesting observing like people interact when they've got nothing to say to each other, really. Just like really just the most banal conversations. I mean, I say that knowing that we do this podcast.
We're making that, we're spinning that into sweet cheddar.
Oh yeah.
The drunk person who I hate the most in the world, he's not a specific person, don't panic. We're not going to dox someone. The drunk man that inserts himself into someone else's conversation. Do you know, he puts, like, you'll be talking to your friend, drunk man who's been out drinking all day on a Saturday, comes into the conversation, bringing banter, but actually what it is like a subtle, almost primate style microaggression power sort of thing, trying to dictate the conversation and dominate you into basically indulging his drunken whims. And I have no time for that person. And as I've got older, I've got like much shorter and aggressive with that type of man.
Have you?
Not aggressive like a thing, but I'll just be like, please leave us, because I'm speaking to my friend. Yeah.
Wow.
Or just stare at me very intently and really over-engage with what they're saying too much.
Yeah, no one ever does that to me.
Because, as in puts themselves in the conversation?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I don't. I'm probably not around that many drunk people. Yeah, I know the type you mean, but like, I think maybe it's just in London you don't really get people chatting to each other like that.
You definitely London gets the day trippers in, and it's the lads from London will get your lads coming in from Essex, from Watty, getting in on a train, coming in from Bushy. Do you know what I mean? And they're coming for day. Yeah. Absolutely, they've got the like Combat 18 short back and sides. They've absolutely saddled down, like an old mountain mule with gack. And they're coming in and they're drinking heavily in places like Victoria.
Oh, God. Yeah. Liverpool Street's the one.
Liverpool Street. So then when it's time to go home, they're like just putting themselves in everybody's business. And you're like, you know what? This is a town of artists.
It's not. It's a town of money launderers.
It's a town of money launderers and the sort of useless descendants of very posh, successful people. And some of my best friends. So just for a bit of balance.
Bit of balance.
It does help not to be poor in this city.
Yeah. Or disabled. Like even the
Anything
town's not built for
rich and powerful.
Rich and powerful, fully able.
As long as you can afford a full Pizza Express on your own, you're all right in this town.
Yeah, you're going to have a good time. I always think when you're knocking around London, it's like, it is not built for. The last time I was down, it was struck me because I'd done a 3.5 hour train ride and I got off at Euston and I was walking to, I can't remember where, but it was basically a half-hour walk away. And I was like, I've just been in like a 120 mile an hour hurtling along steel tube. So I'm going to walk this half an hour and it was great. But just walking through London, there is no way to be for people. There's no toilets, there's no seats. There's no
third places or anything like that.
No,
that's what
the only thing you can do is like, it's commerce, isn't it? Like you can sit down and be somewhere still.
So go back to your little box, please.
I'll go back to your little box.
Your little one-bed box. Yeah, that's right. But I think, James, were you going to say something? Were you going to slag off London?
No, I was going to talk about my Pizza Express journey, but this is more interesting.
No, we could circle back on Pizza Express.
Your journey to Pizza Express or your journey through Pizza Express is?
Well, I've not yet been to one for 20 years.
But we talked about this, about the app, haven't we?
But yeah, I'm quarter of a pizza away from silver level.
Oh, brilliant. Well done.
That's just through getting the ones on offer in the Sainsbury's.
Oh, and that's not even in the restaurant. I
haven't dined for 20 years.
That's incredible.
But Pizza Express is one of those ones where it collapsed. It stopped existing, but crucially, didn't ever stop serving food. Do you know what I mean? It was like they were telling us, we were seeing news stories that it's gone into administration, it's collapsed, the financial backers or whatever. But it just crucially, you could just still go.
Their new business model is basically, we'll sell you these pizzas, or if you've got the app, we'll probably just fucking hand them out for free.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll get into this very quickly, in and out very quickly. But obviously, when I lived in London for 9 years, I spent the biggest chunk of that working for a restaurant chain, the head office that was in London. It was, I think they're mostly defunct now, but it was
obviously.
And this was all around the time when there were several scandals, like the tipping scandal. But the sort of big one, it wasn't a scandal, but it was basically what happened when 2-for-1 deals were injected into the business model. And basically, Pizza Express was the first one to do 2-for-1 discounts.
Right.
And they were huge, colossal. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Packing out the restaurants. The great minds that we used to work for at this company, who I still maintain to this day are some of the most broken psychopathic people I've ever experienced in my life. And without them, I would not be doing this. Because, no, I'm not naming them specifically.
Well, by implication you have. But it's very easy to pinpoint from the information you've given. So
they were.
We're going to take those names out, Joe. I know I said we wouldn't do any editing, and you had an easy episode. I didn't realise.
No, because it's not specific names. I think he's allowed. It's not like libelous or.
How can you not work it out?
No, but this would be like, you can call management teams psychopaths.
Joe, do you think that bullying is acceptable? Yes or no?
I don't think it's bullying because you're punching up. These are your bosses at the time.
But honestly, I want to say thank you to these people, because if they had, I am not a courageous person. I should not be doing what I am today. And if working in that place was any less psychopathic than it was, I'd still be there. Do you know what I mean?
I'm guessing you worked there around the time of the height of The Apprentices and your the sort of the rise of Gordon Ramsay. That sort,
wow,
and that
yeah.
I think seemingly enabled a lot of absolute bellends to shout at their subordinates.
But that is what the hospitality industry, to some degree, is fueled by this like master auteur-led approach. The chef, you know, like at the highest level, the Michelin star level, that is an auteur who curates an experience and is an artist. Facilitate or can facilitate negative behaviour and how you treat people. We know that this is just how the world works.
Series 2 of The Bear.
Series 2 of The Bear. But that sort of like regard for the chef and stuff, when inexplicably from Michelin star level down to the people that worked for the restaurant chain that I worked for. Do you know what I mean? The guy that...
Some of the littlest little chefs.
Like the littlest little chefs. The guys that are doing basically boiling the bag carbonara were screaming at everybody. And you're like, mate, you are not doing... Every bit of your job has been engineered in a mega cooking site so that you are basically just heating bags up.
I just as an aside, I had a Wetherspoons meal last week. Table service. The table was, I would say... And I'm not, it was a big pub with a big garden. I would say 60 meters away from the kitchen, the table. I ordered it on my phone, ham, egg and chips. I would say, this is not an exaggeration. 3 to 4 minutes after I ordered it, it arrived on my table.
Wow. Fried an egg? A fried egg?
That's the worrying thing. How did he fry the egg?
Yeah.
Or was it already ready?
But they're doing high volumes of dishes and that will be a high volume dish. So to some degree,
it's an egg. It was like 8 p.m.
But to some degree, what I'm saying is they will have a rolling. Do you know, like when you're doing a full English breakfast for a buffet, you just keep the eggs coming because you're doing that many of them.
Are they binning eggs then?
Maybe they've got a little egg holder. I don't know. You are not paying for like gastro cooking experience. You're paying for it cheap and quick.
Give it 10 minutes, so I'm not concerned.
Yeah, I think there's a fine line between convenience and worry.
But I always think with Wetherspoons is a big city hack. Like we were saying, there's no place for you to go to the toilet. There's no place for you to sit down. Wetherspoons are the only places that basically you can just wander in, go to the toilet, no one will bother you. They're so high volume. Like there's so many people there. Thing is, the guy that runs it's like a madhead, isn't it? And I always feel sorry.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to congratulate him for building the only sort of public spaces open to everyone.
But I always feel sorry for, as a former marketing person myself, I feel so sorry for his like brand manager of Wetherspoons because you know that they just want to do a promotion on summer drinks. You know that they just want to produce a pamphlet on Recordlic's like summer range and cocktails for the ladies.
Not my
but he
side
comes
of the
in and he's
story.
like, yeah, that's good. But what we could do is print a 20-page booklet about all the people that said I did something bad during the pandemic and I actually was right and I beat them in the court of law. I'm just going to make that into a manifesto, a book, and like the print runs, you know, like to make like a 12-page.
Have you seen them, James?
I haven't seen it, but the character of this person, this public figure, you know why it's called Wetherspoons?
Yeah. It's petty, and it's basically his old...
it was his teacher who said he would never do anything in his life, so he named it after this teacher.
It's amazing how that can drive you throughout your life, isn't it?
Well, that's why he's printing up beer mats that say, I'm right.
Why did no one ever say that to us? That's what I want to know.
That's a good point.
But we'd never make it.
I don't know. I do believe that I have a photographic memory for slights, and I do believe that someone being slightly dismissive of me has been one of the key driving factors in me going like, okay, then we will do this.
We've talked about this, and there's anyone's sort of general behaviour not being open and warm is usually taken as a slight. Not just by you.
I've had to basically divide. Basically, I keep meeting people at the Edinburgh Fringe and being like, never dickhead. And then you're like, no, they just did an incredibly stressful pressure cooker environment and they're not their best selves. Speaking of, not long now.
Thank you for listening to Rural Concerns. If you enjoy listening to this show, please consider supporting us on Patreon. For less than the price of a really good USB-C fast charging socket, you'll get frankly libelous bonus content, as well as access to our online Discord community, The Creamery, which I still don't have access to. I don't know why I'm being asked to read all this stuff out when like half of it I don't even know like it exists.
Well, all I'm saying is I'm building up to letting you into the Discord, but it comes with some rules because we're chatting about some cool stuff. We're all buying Death Trap Dungeon, and a few of us have got those, and we're talking about the mechanics of multiple choice adventures.
Are there any mucky books?
It's not been but this is the start of how something horrible happens, isn't it? We start with a normal one, and then we build up to a mucky one.
Have you ever written erotic fiction just for a laugh for yourself?
We've got 1 minute.
I'll do it quickly. Everyone quiet. Alternatively, you can drop us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts to help trick the mighty algorithm into believing the world needs another podcast of some lads having an aimless chat.
Here's one from Apple. Gav. This podcast is more than you imagine. That was a title capitalized. Unless you are a proper Imagineer that works for Disney rides and parks and something. Despite being in the over 50s centrist dads bracket and often targeted casually with the ire of Christopher, I've continued listening and finding solace in the content. You'll like it.
He does like it. And please note, if you give anything under the full 5 stars, it will cause a computer glitch that will turn off the life support machines of veterans.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Rural Concerns is edited by Joseph Democracy Manifest Burrows and produced by Egg Mountain for A Lovely Time Productions. Fucking hell.
Our artwork is by Poppy Hillstead. Our music is by Sam O'Leary. It's an inspirational quote. And the quote is, all I believe in is food and myself. That's by Action Bronson.
Thank you.
Bye.
Where are we vis-a-vis Prisoners Podcasting?